G'day everyone, Matt from Marker66 here again. Today we're going to be cooking some pork belly. Pork belly is an awesome cut, it's cheap, it's easy to find, and pork bellies are a real crowd pleaser. You turn up with some pork belly with great crackle, you're guaranteed everyone's going to love it. So what we've got here is a nice thick slab of pork belly here. And in terms of prep, there's not a great deal we need to do. If there's a bit of surface fat on the bottom, we can take that off. But most of the prep work's going to be on our skin, and the first thing that we're going to do is score it. The reason that we're going to score it is to just allow that crackle to really come through and start blistering, and also we're going to try and draw some of this moisture out of the fat too to help it crackle up a bit better. Now, a really good tool for that is a craft knife. There's two reasons why I think this is a good tool. One is that you can actually set this so it's only going to come out a certain length, the blade there. And what that's going to do is it's going to stop you cutting into your meat. So yes, we want to score the fat, but we don't really want to go down into the meat, because when we're cooking it skin side or fat side down, we don't want those meat juices dripping through the fat, because it's going to moisten the fat up and it might inhibit our crackling process. The other reason that this is good is it just gives you a nice even score all the way across. What pattern you use, whether you go diagonal or straight across, that's entirely up to you. Today we're just going to be doing some nice straight line scores. And what we want to do is, I guess we're looking for around about that 8 to 10 mil distance between each score. Now that we've scored up our skin, what we're going to do is I'm just going to place this in a foil tray here, and I'm going to give it quite a liberal coating of salt, and you can just use standard sea salt you're going to find at your supermarket. We're going to put quite a bit on here, and we're going to set this aside in the fridge for a little while, and what that's going to do is it's going to start drawing that moisture out of the fat there and help that crackle come along really nicely. Now, if you can do this the night before, that's ideal. If you can't, then I'll give it at least a few hours in the fridge if you can. Right, so let's tuck this away for a few hours, let it do its thing, and we'll come back to it shortly. We've given that a few hours now, and like I say, if you can do it overnight, that's ideal. But if time doesn't allow, it's always good just to give it a bit of time with that salt to draw a bit of moisture out of the fat. What we're going to do now is we're going to apply our seasoning. And today I'm using the Angus & Oink char siu rub. I love this rub. It's got a brilliant colour. It's got a really nice taste to it as well. I really love using it on pork. So we're going to apply a bit of this. And once this starts setting into the meat starts sweating a little bit, you'll see, it's a really nice red that comes out. I'll put a reasonably generous coating on there. So you can see it's getting that really nice red colour on it now. Now we're going to turn it back over again. And on our skin side, we're going to apply a little olive oil here. A little splash on the top. We're going to rub that in. And then we're going to put some more sea salt on. And this time we're not going to be quite as generous as we did previously, but just give it a nice even coating. Today we're going to be cooking on the flipping grate, and if you want to check out a bit more about the flipping grate, check out our spatchcock chicken video where we talk a bit more in depth about the flipping grate. But great bit of kit for pork crackle. You can see it's got that really nice red colour coming up there. So we're just going to leave this in here and just let that sit for a little bit while that rub sets in. Now, there's a number of different ways you can establish some really nice crackle on pork belly, and that's going to depend a bit on the type of barbecue that you're using to do it. For me, the way that I like to do it, I think there's two really key things. One is height and one is high heat. So the first thing is that you need some really high temperature to get that crackle going. When you're just cooking the meat, that's fine. You can drop your temperature back a bit, but for the crackle, we need that high temperature. And that's where I think the flipping grate really comes into its own, because you're over open flame, and so you're getting some really good heat there. And the second thing is height. You need to have a good distance between your heat source and your crackle. Around 2 to 300 mil seems to be quite good, but you don't want to be too close, because I can tell you from experience that a nice crackle will become burnt very quickly. If you're too close, it'll take your eye off it. So for me, those are sort of the two key things that I think about when I'm doing my pork belly and trying to get that nice hard crackly skin that everyone loves. Right, so I'm going to start off putting the fat side or the crackle side down. I'm going to establish my crackle first. Today we're cooking with some apple wood, and you can see also that nice colour of that char siu really coming through now. It looks really brilliant. So we're going to leave that for a little bit and get that crackle going. We've had our pork belly on fat side down for about 45 minutes now, and it looks like that crackle's cut up really well. So let's flip it over and see how it's looking. Look at that, golden brown. You can see a bit of blistering going on there. It's looking really good. You can hear that skin's nice and crackly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave that meat side down, and we're going to allow that meat to cook up, and we will give that crackle a final blast before we serve it, just to get that nice and crispy again. But we're going to bring the meat up. I like to cook mine to around about 195 degrees Fahrenheit, or until it's probing nice and tender. So we'll let that go, and we'll come back shortly and have a look. Right, our meat's come up. It's actually sitting around about 190 or just under, but it's probing really nicely, so I'm really happy with that. So I've just flipped it back over, and what we're going to do is just give that crackle another final blast, and then we're going to take it off and we'll slice it up and serve it. And look at that, straight off the barbecue over open flames. Look, this smells and looks amazing. So let's cut it open and see how it looks. Look at that, beautiful, juicy, tender, lovely pork belly. Looks amazing. Okay, let's give this a try. We'll start with the meat. It tastes amazing. You've got a bit of a textural difference there. You've got the nice char, and you can really taste that char siu and the nice tender meat. That really is. It is beautiful. And now for the all-important crackle test. Beautiful, salty, crispy. Everything you want in a pork crackle. So there we go, beautiful pork belly. Tender in the middle, crispy on the outside, just how we like it. Hope you learned something today and picked something up. Like always, if you like our videos, give us a subscribe so you can keep up with all our content. And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy some delicious pork belly and a nice cold drink. Cheers.